When working with suspended equipment, you want to be aware of seizure precautions. If your child has a seizure disorder that is not managed by medication or is triggered by vestibular input, you want to completely avoid suspended equipment. If they have a seizure disorder that is managed by medication and is triggered by vestibular input, you want to proceed with extreme caution and avoid rotational movements. Try to keep the movement linear and obviously start slow and then increase from there. And if your child has a seizure disorder that is managed by medication but is not triggered by vestibular input, suspended equipment is okay to use, but still proceed with caution and try to avoid rotational movements or proceed with rotational movements with extreme caution. The first swing that I'm going to demonstrate is the platform swing. Before even lifting up the platform swing, you want to make sure that your height adjuster is at eye level. When you lift, you want to make sure that you have proper body mechanics. So bend with your legs and lift with your legs and keep a neutral spine, just like this. When attaching the platform swing, it's helpful to hold it underneath your arm so that way it doesn't fall over when you're attaching the carabiner. You can also stabilize the rope with your hand that's free. Once attached, you can use the lever on the height adjuster to move the height to your desired level. From here, you can slowly lower the swing to the ground. Something to keep in mind when you're handling the swing is to take off all jewelry and tie your hair back if you have long hair so it doesn't get caught on any of the equipment while you're using it. You also want to make sure that when you are adjusting the height of the swing, a typical range to adjust it to is to the height of your client's mid-calf. Have your child on the swing and you're moving the swing, you want to look for signs of vestibular or behavioral distress. This can be things like a flushed face, increased flatulence, or facial expressions that indicate discomfort. An emergency response in this scenario would be to slowly stop the movement, remove the kid, and you may need to provide some sort of regulating proprioceptive input. To get onto the cuddle swing, you'll have the child first get onto their knees while you stabilize the swing, and they'll crawl onto the platform just like so. From here, they can pull themselves forward, and you want them to lift their legs off the ground to allow them to swing freely through the air. Getting off of the platform swing, the child can either stabilize with their arms while you help stabilize the swing, or you can stabilize the swing independently. From here, the child will bring their legs down and slowly push off of the platform. The platform swing can be used in various different positions. It can be used while standing, and a child can work on their dynamic standing balance. It can be used while in prone to facilitate extension against gravity, and they can also push with their arms to promote upper body strengthening. It can also be used in a seated position to work on dynamic sitting balance and also grip strength because they'll be holding on to the ropes. And when the child is on the swing, it provides vestibular input that could be regulating to a child. When removing the platform swing, it's best to bend down, keeping proper body mechanics, placing it under your arm again, and then removing the carabiner from the height adjuster. At this point, you can slowly bring the platform swing down to the floor. The second swing that I'm going to demonstrate is called the cuddle swing. You pick this up in the exact same way. You attach it to the height adjuster, then adjust the height to your client's mid-calf. The cuddle swing envelops the child and is good for providing vestibular input while at the same time providing calming proprioceptive input that can help regulate the child if they're sensitive to vestibular. The tactile and proprioceptive input that this provides is also good for addressing postural control. When using the cuddle swing, you still want to monitor for behavioral signs of distress because the child may be experiencing claustrophobia because they are enveloped. They might also be tactilely hypersensitive and the fabric might be uncomfortable for them. If your child doesn't have enough postural support to sit up independently, they can get in with a parent. If they can get in independently, they will either open it or you will open it for them and they will sit in it just like a chair. You want to make sure that their legs stay on the outside of the swing. To get out of the swing, you can have the child back up to almost a standing position while you provide contact guard assist. They'll bring their arms out and they'll step out just like so. To remove the cuddle swing, you just lower the height adjuster and remove the carabiner from the height adjuster. You can then slowly place it onto the floor. One final note when using suspended equipment is to never leave the child unattended and always provide contact guard assist. Additionally, once you're done using the swing, make sure to remove it so that way no other children have access to it and injure themselves. This piece of equipment is called a wedge. It can be used to facilitate extension against gravity when an infant is in tummy time. It can also be used to facilitate weight bearing while a child is laying in prone, and it can be used to help build visual motor and fine motor skills by helping an infant explore the world. And the child will get on it just like this. Depending on the size of the child, you can adjust the size of your wedge. And this is a piece of weighted equipment that can be provided to a child to give calming proprioceptive input. A general rule of thumb to follow is to not give weighted equipment that's over 5 to 10% of the child's body weight if they're over 3 years old, and if they're under 3 years old, completely avoid weighted equipment altogether. When you're using weighted equipment, you want to do 20 minutes on and 20 minutes off with 3 repetitions and an hour in between each repetition, so that way your child doesn't get habituated to the calming input that this provides. One thing to remember is to never provide any type of weighted equipment while your child is sleeping. This piece of equipment is called the scooter board. When you store the scooter board, you always want to make sure to store it with the wheels faced up for safety. When using the scooter board and putting a child on it, you want to make sure first that there's a clear path and that everybody is out of the way. Second, you want to have 3 points of contact before the child gets onto the board. Your first point of contact is going to be your foot in front of the drive wheel. Your second point of contact is going to be your knee on the ground, and the third point of contact is going to be on the child, guiding them onto the board. While you're guiding the child onto the board, they can be in a seated position or laying down in a prone position. When in prone, the child will be on it just like so, and you want to cue them to keep their arms out to avoid them getting ran over by the drive wheels. Second, you want to have them lift their legs up, just like this, so that way they can pull and propel themselves forward. The sliding board is really good to build extension against gravity, upper body strength. It also provides vestibular and proprioceptive input, and it encourages bimanual control of the upper extremities. Hello Mom, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Okay, so I know we're here about little baby Matthew. Based on his report and an assessment called the sensory process measure, he does demonstrate a little bit of weakness in his back. So he's having a lot of hard time lifting his back, his torso off of the ground and lifting his head, which is why when he sits up, he does have to be propped up by a pillow. Typically by this age, they would have developed independent sitting. So, Matthew is a little bit delayed. But that's what I'm here to work on today. We're gonna start off with a swinging activity, and it's just gonna provide a little bit of movement that's gonna calm him down, get him engaged, and then we're also gonna do a little bit of visual and like motor and reaching training that you can help me out with. Are you okay with that? Okay, cool. Is it okay if I hold him? Sure. All right. Hello, Matthew. How are you doing today? You look so cute. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put him onto this swing. I'm gonna place him face up, and the reason why I have a bean bag is just for safety, and that's why there's all this padding around as well. The swing is really low, so he's gonna be nice and safe in here, okay? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and place him down. You're having a lot of fun, aren't you, Matthew? Good job, good job. Okay, Mom. I'm gonna go ahead and start swinging him and just making sure that he's stable, and then you can actually grab those bubbles that are right there on the ground. Perfect. Go ahead and blow those at little baby Matthew to get his attention. You want him to be reaching. Provide a lot of encouragement. Good job, Matthew.
Good job, Matthew.
Good job. Great job reaching. We're just gonna stay here for a few minutes swinging. This is gonna help prepare him for the next activity, okay? Great job.
Good
Look at
job,
Mom.
buddy.
Look at Mom.
Hi.
Look at Mom. Reach for the bubbles, Matthew. Reach for the bubbles. Good job. Good job, Matthew. You're doing such a good job. All right. He looks very relaxed right now. He's having a lot of fun. Are you having fun playing with Mom, Matthew?
Good job, baby.
Are you having fun? Great job. And as you can see right now, he's really relaxed and he's engaged. And because he's reaching, it's also helping develop some visual skills that he hasn't really been able to develop because he can't lift his head and explore the world. Good job, Matthew. Keep playing with the bubble. Very nice. Very nice. Good job, Matthew. All right. Very safe, and he looks very excited to play today. He's doing a great job. Does he play with bubbles a lot? Do you use bubbles to play with him?
Not often, no.
Okay, yeah, when you're at home, it's very good to use like engaging toys to get him to like reach up and explore, and it can help him develop some of the skills that he doesn't currently have.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Matthew, are you ready to move to the next activity? Are you ready? All right.
Let's go.
We're gonna get him up now. Is it okay if you hold this way still for me, Mom?
Yeah.
Just so it's good job. Thank you. All right. We're gonna pick up baby Matthew, and we're gonna bring him over to the wedge. Okay, Mom. Now that Matthew is all regulated and ready to participate, we're gonna do tummy time. Do you do tummy time with him very often?
Sometimes.
So at his age, even far before his age, it's very important to do tummy time. So that way he can start lifting his head up against gravity and exploring the world and building those back muscles that he doesn't currently have, okay? So right now we're gonna do tummy time, but we're gonna do it on a wedge. And what this wedge is gonna do is it's gonna help shift the weight off of his head and more onto his back and make it a little bit easier for him to lift his head up so that way he can explore and play with us today, okay? Okay, so I'm just gonna flip you over. Are you ready, Matthew? We're gonna do some tummy time. Are you ready? All right, good job. Now we're gonna lay here. You have to adjust his arms so they're over. Good job, Matthew. Good job.
Daddy.
Okay, now Mom, can you go ahead and grab those bubbles for me? Thank you. Good job, Matthew. All right, we're gonna play bubbles again. Get your head up, Matthew. Look at Mom. Look at Mom, Matthew. Go ahead and blow those bubbles. Woo! Good job, Matthew. Reach for the bubbles. Reach for the bubbles, Matthew. Great job. You're doing a great job in tummy time, Matthew. Get that head up as far as you can. Up, 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 Matthew. Look at over here. Look at Mom. Look at the bubbles, Matthew. Reach, reach, reach for those bubbles, Matthew. Good job.
Look at.
Good job. Oh, pop, pop. Good job, Matthew. Good job. I'm gonna do some more reaching, Matthew. Reach, 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 reach for the bubbles. Reach for the bubbles. Reach for the bubbles and look at Mommy. Look at Mommy. Mommy says you're doing such a good job, Matthew.
Good job, buddy.
You're doing such a great job in tummy time today. You like playing in OT, Matthew? And this is something that you can do at home as well.
Oh, okay.
You can roll up a towel and put it underneath his armpits to support him in this exact position. Just make sure that it's not too low or else it's not going to do the job.
Okay.
So about this height is perfect, okay?
Okay.
So it's about 3 inches off of the floor.
Okay.
Alright. Gonna do a little bit more tummy time, Matthew. You gotta pop, pop, pop the bubbles. Pop the bubbles, Matthew. Good job. Alright. Great job in tummy time today, Matthew. I'm gonna go ahead and pick you up. You did such a good job, Matthew. You did such a great job. And then like I said, Mom, when you're at home, make sure you're putting him in tummy time. You can use a wedge like a pillow or some sort of rolled up towel underneath his armpits to help him get that head up, and eventually we're gonna hope that he can get his head up without the help of the wedge, okay? And another thing that he likes is he likes movement. He likes to be rocked, he likes to be swayed. So you can do that if he ever feels like he's getting overwhelmed or he seems distressed. Rocking and swaying is something that he really enjoys to do. Okay. Go ahead and take Mr. Matthew back. Alright, and I will see you in the next session, Matthew. Bye, Mom.